Welcome back to the desk of the WGL North America. We were just having some fun in the break talking about our exploits in Las Vegas. We just got back from the Season 1 Grand Finals at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It was a phenomenal time, and we had so much fun. And we were just talking about some of the success we had at the tables, and I was giving these guys some pointers on my craps technique. We had a lot of fun playing craps, and Andre takes a little bit of offense at my strategy.
I don't take offense. I think it's hilarious. For those of you that don't know, craps is a game where it's basically you're rooting for 7 not to come up, and Ben is the only one at the table normally is rooting for 7 to come up. So when everybody loses, he's like, it's mine, and he loves it.
I played blackjack and I broke even, and that was it. Craps is a game I have really no inkling on how to play, but Mr. Bitter is going to tutor me next time.
I was playing a lot of craps in Las Vegas. I was doing pretty well at the craps table. I said, I'm going to go play some blackjack. Sat down in the span of 10 minutes, lost $200, and said, that's it for me. I'm going to go play craps again. Won it all back and called it a night.
Oh, well, with that lucky streak, I probably would have done the same. But I was up 20. I thought, oh, I was up 20. I'll play one more time. And then I was down 20, and I was like, I'll break even. And that's it. And that was my experience. We put a lot of hard work into that finals, man. It was a lot of fun. So many people from Wargaming and a lot of people at PAX that were able to watch it were very, very enthusiastic to find out more about Season 2, and they really, really appreciated the entire show. So to everyone that was involved, especially here at the studio, and to all the fans that showed up, thank you so much. It was a great time, and we're just getting started. That was Season 1. And compare that season to other games that were just getting started in esports. That was a huge victory. Huge victory for Season 1.
We had a great time. I don't know if it's even been decided on our side where we're going for Season 2, but I'm hoping that we end up back in Las Vegas because that was a lot of fun. And Vegas is a great city.
It is. It is. Next time I want to see a show, though. I definitely want to see
You should go see the shows. Yeah. The shows there are phenomenal. And I'm going to just say this. If we go back, just go out there a day early. Go out there a day early. See a couple of shows. I know most of the hotels have really good specials like Luxor. You can buy 2 show tickets for $100 to 2 different shows. It's a great deal. And you can see, and the shows in Vegas are like the best.
Clutch. I saw 2 shows there, Celine Dion and Phantom of the Opera. Both were incredible. I've seen a lot of New York City shows. I thought these Las Vegas shows were 10 times better.
I heard Phantom at the Venetian was phenomenal.
Oh
Unfortunately, it stopped playing, so I didn't get a chance to see it.
Unreal.
I love to see Jabberwockies because I'm a fan of dancing, and I watched the show America's Best Dance Crew from Season 1 to about Season 3.
So
I watched it, and it was really good.
Yeah,
I really like the Jabberwockies. I really like
I caught your joke.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I caught your joke.
I didn't catch it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was thinking.
I said so did Rookhill.
Yeah. Yeah. The Roo.
A
lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great city, man. Also, all the Cirque shows are just phenomenal. Have you ever seen Cirque du Soleil?
No, I have not.
Then,
actually.
dude, that's the only thing that you need to get. You just go out there and
it's
see
on my
Cirque
list.
Show. You'll. If anybody out there that's never seen a Cirque du Soleil show, you're missing out. Go check one out. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's on my list, man, of course. But that's my background is theater, so I definitely want to see a lot of productions that Vegas has to offer. But it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
So our final match of the day, guys, is going to be Death from Above versus Hunter x Hunter. And I've been told that Hunter x Hunter has some of the remnants of the Cazadores on their squad. Cazadores is a Season 1 team. Finished in the bottom half. They were relegated from the league. But there's nothing stopping them from coming back and trying to qualify again. So
they really like hunters.
Yeah, Cazadores is Spanish for hunters, by the way.
Hunter x Hunter is actually an anime.
Oh, really?
Yep. And it's so here's my true nerd colors coming out here. Hunter x Hunter is an anime that preceded the Naruto universe, and the writer of Naruto credits Hunter x Hunter for giving a lot of ideas that he applied in the Naruto anime.
Look at that.
Am I the only person here that watched Tenchi Muyo? Is it just me?
Well, I watched Naruto, and then after that, I said I'm banning myself for life from ever watching an anime because they're too good, and I get sucked into them, and they don't end.
Well, you got to pick the ones that do end. There's some really good ones that are like 30 episodes long. They're just great stories, really fun.
But see, the problem is, I'll watch those 30 episodes in less than 2 days.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Take a day off, watch a bunch of anime.
I can't be that big of a degenerate in them.
I'll let you borrow Smallville if you want to do that. Well, that's 10 years. That's 10 seasons.
Okay, so you can spend a day watching an anime, or you can spend a day playing World of Tanks.
World of Tanks.
Or you can do both. Play a match, watch
Hey,
an
you got
episode,
2 screens now.
play a match.
I do have 2 screens.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm real close to unlocking my E5, by the way. I'm getting real close. I'm still in that M103.
Yep. My next tank's gonna be the 110.
Right on.
Nice.
I really want to try the Chinese line, but I think I'm going to go down. No, I'm going to go down the Chinese line after I get the T69. But after that, I still want to experiment with the British line a bit. Even though it's just going to be in pub games, the trailer they have for the 8.7 patch is awesome. And they kept playing it at PAX, and I'm looking at it and I go, I got to try this, man.
I gotta get a Cromwell.
Yeah. The voice acting in it is phenomenal. It's just really cool. But the historical implications, too, of North Africa and how those different artillery tanks were used and how the tanks were designed was very, very cool, very interesting, and also how the Sherman performed. And just this mass-marketed tank in the North African campaign worked very well, and the Germans had to find a way to counter it, and that's why they came out with
Okay, so I'm going to be
Tigers and
completely
Panthers.
honest with you. The
Sure.
Sherman was not the tank that won the war. The reason the Sherman was so heralded is because we won the war, but in actuality, it took 3 or 4 Shermans to kill a single Tiger tank.
Oh, of course. But there were 3 and 4 Shermans available to kill the Tiger tank. That's why.
That's right. But
No,
I mean,
it's a numbers
like,
game.
Like if you take an American tank driver and you say, hey, would you rather be driving a Sherman or a Tiger? So he's going to say, put me in a Tiger every single time.
Well, that's the same thing in Vietnam. If you had a GI say, would you rather have an M16 or an AK-47, they choose an AK-47 every time.
I don't know about that.
Oh, well, yeah. We can ask almost any veteran. AK-47 was a much more valued rifle when it was out in
Wasn't
the
it
jungle.
terrible in the water, though?
No, the M16 was terrible in the
Oh,
water.
yeah, that's right. I don't know that history well
It's
enough.
not just the technology, but it's also the men and the strategy of how it's used. The
Sure.
M4 Sherman, there's a lot more of them. They were easier to repair in the field. There were a lot more parts available compared to the other tanks. But the Germans, again, their war machine of cranking
Wait.
out tanks to defeat it was
The
awesome.
AK-47, that was the first one that actually spun the bullet, right?
You mean rifle the bullet?
No, man, that
No.
was way back in. That was a long
Oh,
time
okay.
ago.
Rifling's after
I'm terrible
muskets.
then.
Muskets and then rifling, and that's what they call rifles.
I heard in one of the wars, like, a guy would be shot in, like, the leg, and it would come out their ankle or something because it would just
the
spin
musket
inside
bounce,
yeah.
bounce around or spin around.
Well, it would just spin inside their body, and then, yeah.
That's an incredibly graphic
That's
piece
terrible.
of imagery.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'd have never really heard that.
I heard that from my 8th grade history teacher. I
A
remember that happened.
22 can bounce inside your body
Jeez.
once or twice.
Most
perhaps.
bullets now are hollow shell.
Yeah.
So they just go.
Oh.
They create a larger damage hit.
That's
They just
bigger
brutal.
stopping
it's like
power.
a grenade blowing up when it gets
Yeah.
inside.
so it's literally like a cluster bomb.
Mm.
Well, I mean, the spread gets that big compared to
Yeah.
the tip being that big.
Gotcha.
That's
Wow,
military technology, folks. Keeps
That's incredible.
escalating. That's how it works. Just like we saw in World War II, escalation. You bring this type of tank, the enemy team like, oh no, we're getting crushed. They
The
designed
next thing you know,
something
you
better.
got IS-3s and 5100s, and
Yeah.
it's just like, how do I beat this?
Yeah, Pershings, Pattons, Panzer IVs.
Chaffee, not so much.
I like the Chaffee. I like the Chaffee.
World War IV.
You
Fought
know,
with
instead of
sticks,
dropping
guys.
Yeah.
wooden bombs, I think they might just start dropping Chaffies.
Or they, you know, like I said in the video, the M22 Locust, we weren't kidding
Yeah,
around. They
yeah.
did design that tank to drop it from a glider and to secure airfields. And when I was talking to the chieftain, he goes, well, if you have to secure an airfield, why are you landing a plane there in the first place? You're just going to take over the plane. You're going to lose more of a valued asset. So when you have all these people designing, like, you know what, we drop a lot of weapons and ammo and food. Why don't we drop tanks? Like, yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to put a parachute.
And not only that, like, and not only that, if you have air control, you have ground control because of that.
For the
So
most
it's
part.
like
But a lot of it
redundant.
would be clearing areas that were tough for air to see, especially forests.
and the gun in the Locust is only a grenade.
It was more of like a shotgun. I mean, the type of it was
really?
it was more of like when I was talking to the chieftain of how it was used. It was more like an anti-infantry shotgun type casing. I mean, with the spread that the damage
Which is,
had.
by the way, not so good against other tanks.
No.
No, it's great against infantry, but it's not so good against other tanks.
And even that, I've seen Saving Private Ryan. You just do a couple sticky bombs. You're
Yeah,
good
just
to
some
go.
Oh, yeah.
socks and some C4, man. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Well, to track the tank, the crew has to get out to repair the tracks. Take out the crew.
Timing attack. Good to go.
Yeah. No, it's very very intriguing to see that. But I'm really excited about World War planes. A lot of people really love playing that game at PAX.
I'm excited for World of War ships. I haven't even been able to see the game itself, just trailers. And
so
of
cool.
everything I'm hearing, like
so
every time I
cool.
talk to the wargaming guys, I'm like, hey man, give me some info on warships. They're like, nope.
Yeah,
Come on!
I can't
Nope.
I can't even tell you.
They're like, I can tell you it's cool.
Some of the things. Yeah, it is really really neat to see, and the type of warfare on the naval side is still a lot. There's still a lot for me to learn, and I learned so much at the presentation at E3 that they had that I was really really impressed. But World of Warplanes to me, the dogfighting aspect, that's always been the most passionate I've been about warfare, because I was in the Air Force and that's what I wanted to do when I was a kid, and especially watching Star Wars and Top Gun, growing up watching that, and how you can almost relive the technological feats of all these different planes and how they worked. And to me, I'm really excited about that. So guys, make sure to sign up. If you already play World of Tanks, your account will be tied to World of Warplanes. Even your premium account will be tied to it. It's currently in open beta, but it's released September 26th, I believe.
That's my birthday.
All right. I know I'm going to get to that.
Happy birthday. Thank you.
But I'm really excited
Wargaming.
for that. So stay tuned for more information. Go to worldofwarplanes.com. Another great game from Wargaming coming out.
There's a lot of September babies out there. Both my sisters born in September.
Parents' anniversaries in September.
We're New Year's babies.
That makes so much sense now.
Yep. And November, Valentine's babies.
Yeah. I'm April, so what am I?
April is 4, right?
Mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thanks.
Josh.
Jeez. Wow. Wow. All right.
We call them oops babies.
Good night. That was so mean.
I don't know. Does anything special happen in July for your parents?
Independence Day, man. They're
Yeah,
patriots.
man. Yeah, Independence Day. So
No better way to celebrate freedom than by making a Josh.
that's
Boom.
right.
And
That's
Ben?
right.
February, baby.
Your February
I
baby?
was a definite oops baby. My parents were like, "Oh, damn it."
That's
And
why
then
they were
after you
so-
came out, your parents made sure that
Yeah.
you knew.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Better. That's where he gets it from.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm seeing all of the families that were there at PAX, and a lot of little kids that would come up and play the game. Some of the kids were there all day, and they'd play the games and have the raffle tickets, and they had like 40 raffle tickets ready to win a prize. We had Xbox 360s we were giving out, flight sticks, all sorts of amazing things, and it made me realize I'm not ready to have kids yet. I'm really not. I have a while to go,
I
but
thought you were going somewhere else with that. Man, the kids, they
Yeah.
were so excited and energetic. They looked so happy.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun to be able to give away prizes to these kids. And it really
And
made me
I
realize
hated
that I
that.
hate children.
No. I didn't. No, I
They
didn't.
were awful.
That's not what I'm trying to say. I didn't hate it. What I'm trying to say is I wanted to be there.
What I'm trying to say is I wanted no part of it.
I wanted to be there to experience that, and I know I have no time right now. So I want to have kids when I'm ready to have that time and start a family, and that's at least 5 to 8 years from now. I'm too busy. I'm too selfish. I need to make more money. But it really was great to have that kind of family setting at the Wargaming booth, man. It was family friendly. It was a lot of fun.
And Wargaming always puts together the most phenomenal booths.
When I was younger and very aspiring to be, I was into like actuary stuff. I was in heavy mathematics. And I was like, oh, I'll have a kid once I get $3 million. And then if I want another kid, I get another $3 million. That way, all the interest can just go into that.
And then
Yeah.
you got into esports and you
And then
realize you're never
I
having a
have to
kid.
lower my standards.
When I can make it to my third paycheck,
Yeah. I do the tally and go, well, this month I can afford diapers for one child. That's about it.
a diaper,
Yeah.
a cloth diaper.
No, it all works out, man. If you wait to afford kids, you'll never have kids. So it always works out. My parents were able to do it with 4 children, and one day, far away from now, you just got to find the right girl first. But
Well, I mean,
of course,
that's the real
paramount.
challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
That's the real challenge. So
Figure that out.
it looks like we know that we're going to be playing Himmelsdorf, guys. I still haven't seen tanks selected. Looks like that selection process is just beginning. Once again, we're getting ready for our final match of the day, Death from Above versus Hunter x Hunter. The DFA team have begun readying up some of their tanks for Himmelsdorf. I see a single IS-3 represented. We'll see how they choose to round it out.
Do we know if Cazadores is still a team? I haven't heard anything from them since qualifier number 2.
I'm not sure, but there is Tico 161, Onizuka, of course, is there. Heliox 02. Actually, they're all Cazadores.
Yeah, these are several Kaza players, so I guess
Because Kaz is probably the clan that they're coming from, obviously,
Yeah.
and then they're made up a second team. Well, I'll have to ask them
But guys,
in Spanish later
no
on.
Kufo.
No Kufo. Ah,
Kufo, the top performing light tank player from Season 1 by a large margin.
Yep.
that includes damage and scouting, correct?
Mhm.
Everything.
Damage, scouting, lifetime, ratios.
Very second place in capture points
Yes. Oh, capture points.
behind MacG.
There's like 6 different variables that went into it weighted.
Yeah, and he was
In
also one of the
importance.
candidates for MVP.
That's right.
A very voted for candidate for MVP, by the way.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Like Can you give us? No, don't give us.
He was
scores.
the third highest vote getter.
Third highest. Wow. That's
behind Mac G
impressive.
and Absolute Royal.
Look at that.
Great
Very
community. Great community of players. Really was.
All right, gentlemen, it is time for our first battle in this final best of 5 of the day. Hunter x Hunter versus Death from Above. We're moving on into Himmelsdorf. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. And here we go again with the Cazadores team, the Hunter x Hunter, the blue side, and Death from Above on the red side in the north. What kind of tanks we seeing here, boys?
AMX 5100s, 2 of them for Hunter by Hunter. IS3, 2 T69s, 2 T1s. For the other team, Death from Above, 2 AMX 5100s, 3 IS3s, which means Greetorp is smiling, and 2 T1s.
And a pretty aggressive movement here from Death from Above, pushing all the way down this western rail yard. And I don't know that they've been spotted yet. They're going to continue moving. The T1s are covering the hill and Tank Alley, and the rest of the team is making a very strong push down this west front. And still invisible to Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter x Hunter is actually pushing up to the hillside. And they do have 2 light tanks and a medium tank with the spread on the G line and at J3. And one of the tanks has been spotted coming down the 2 line. And if one more tank is spotted, this will be a reassessment.
I think they're already recalculating as we see them turning around and getting ready to perhaps barrel back down the hill. No big spots really happening on either side. Looks like Hunter x Hunter will pick up a T1 kill. But Death from Above will continue with the push, and they are very near to this capture point. Down comes Hunter x Hunter as they are going to prepare to come back and defend.
Yep, and they're going to have to get around that hill very, very quickly if there is a big push from the red team. But they only see one red tank, one tank from Death from Above, and that is on the corner of Tank Alley. Nothing else has been spotted. And so they are moving with limited information, but enough information to say, well, we killed the T1 at the top.
Surprise, fast cap. Here we go. It's all on you, DFA. Or Hunter x Hunter, I should say, to defend as DFA. Actually, they're going to just roll right through this cap. They're not trying to protect themselves. They're trying to set up to catch Hunter x Hunter in transit as they come back to defend. Selijas out in front. It's only 15 seconds left before the capture is done. Okay, there was one big reset, but it's still Hunter x Hunter really forced to make something happen here as Death from Above is being very serious about this capture attempt.
And they're going to keep getting those resets on those tanks that are exposed, but the tanks that are not exposed are going to continue to increase that point cap variation. And now 20 seconds on the clock, going back down to 10 with that 3, and those tanks are going to continue to accumulate on the other side of that church.
Only 9 seconds left as the resets continue going out, but this cap is nearing completion. 5 seconds left. They got to get a big reset or it ain't going to matter. 2 seconds, 1 second. I think that's going to do it. Is it official? Blue base captured is what it says, and I think that's going to do it. Is that going to do it?
Yes.
Waiting for the last couple seconds.
It's not official yet. The fighting is still happening.
There it is. Now it's official.
It does finally get locked in as a few more shots were being exchanged, but Death from Above does lock it out with the fast cap. Cool aggressive play there on Himmelsdorf. We know it's an option that exists, and I do love it when I see a good fast cap. Death from Above able to take that first battle. All right, gentlemen, here we go again. Abbey is the map, and Death from Above, our red team spawning in the south, does currently lead 1-0. We saw fast cap on Himmelsdorf, and interestingly enough, we see another focused push here materializing. All 5 Tier 8 tanks moving out together, the Tier 1s being sent out to cover alternate attack paths.
So the opposite for the blue team, which is Hunter by Hunter. Take a look at the tank selection. 2 AMX 5100s, 2 T69s, an AMX 1390, and 2 Tier 1 Cunninghams. 4 Hunter by Hunter. For Death from Above, 2 AMX 5100s, 3 IS3s, and 2 T1s. Going for more of the armor strength of the IS3s through Death from Above. But they do lose their first T1. Bullsaw.
Yeah, he goes right down. And I don't know that he even really got a good spot off.
He did. He saw everyone, I think.
Did he? Okay. So that will at least inform Death from Above of the impending threat, that threat of aggression, that threat of capture. But in fact, it doesn't look like Hunter x Hunter is being that mobile. They've kind of killed that first T1 and stalled out a little bit, slowing down their push. DFA, on the other hand, also taking their time. They haven't exactly made a big hard push down that western one line.
No, they haven't, but they are reaching about halfway through the map from the north side. And when they do get that position just above, they could be able to spot that T1, that light tank at the bottom of that hill. And with the trajectory, with the gun depression, depending on what tank is able to see, it could get that kill itself. But now it's going to be a slow move, a slow push, and a little bit of a spread as they do keep the other T1 Cunninghams up to the north side to try and see if any of Death from Above will move in on their flag capture. It will be tough to get back in time if there is a full commitment right now. But as we can see on the minimap, there will not be from Death from Above. But they do see that Tier 1. And they're going to try to line up at least a kill or a shot. But if they do try to do that, it will leave themselves exposed. But in that defensive position, that parking lot position of Death from Above, nothing's going to cross that line because nothing is going there anyways, Ben.
Yes, sir. Not a lot of movement out of Death from Above. They are absolutely 100% on lockdown. They do lead 1-0, so I guess in theory there is no urgency, no real need for them to do anything crazy. And it could just be a fact that Abbey's not a map they're comfortable playing, so they're going to sit back, take their time, stall it out if they have to, and you know, if they don't have to, then so be it. We can see 4 tanks holding this A1 line and a single AMX 5100 sitting back to look across to the flag. So they do have full vision of the necessary parts of the map, but there's clearly nothing being forced. There's no real aggression taking place.
7 minutes left on the clock. This is going to be a standstill, folks, for a little bit, as both of these teams are going to try to find a window of opportunity to get some shots fired across the Monk Village of the Abbey. But that is going to take a little bit of a little bit of time here. Death from Above is up 1-0. Ben, if you were in Death from Above's shoes, would you wait until the 3-minute mark before you made a choice of what you're going to do?
Dude, if I was a pro tanker, you would never see me do these kinds of slow plays. I fully feel that you can win games with mobility alone, and I think it's just a matter of time before we see more top-tier teams taking advantage of that. This is just the nature of real-time strategy games, and I am of the opinion that World of Tanks is a real-time strategy game.
It is a game of strategy. The difference is you have 6 other minds working with you, try to execute that strategy. But it is a thing of beauty, in my opinion, to see a plan come together, just like the A-Team. But to see it executed so well and in so brief of time, in small little windows, small little battles, that each and every one of these players has to play, has to win, to land their shots, to aim for their shots to the best places of the enemy tanks to get that penetration, and also to be completely aware, have a real sixth sense, a gamer sixth sense, a tanker sixth sense, or any type of game that you play, to just feel, not think, where the enemy's going to be, how to place your movement, how to track their movement, where to shoot, where to aim your turret to line up that shot, when a tank is going to be behind you, when to move forward and get behind cover. All these things, and we see teams like Na'Vi and Fulcrum Gaming and Simp be able to perform at that type of level.
Yes, sir. Still absolutely zero movement out of Death from Above, who we're looking at from above. It is stagnation from above is what I am seeing.
I see what you did
from
there.
the overhead camera here. These guys just sitting here holding these corners, making sure that there is no threat of a push or an attack of any kind. They have vision of all the relevant attack paths, and they're just going to sit here and hold it. It looks like they just don't like Abbey, is the way I'm reading into this. What do you think, Andre?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we've seen Cazadores consistently pick Abbey, and if they have an inkling of how Cazadores played before in WGLNA Season 1, they definitely have a nice plan going into it. They're just saying, okay, Cazadores or Hunter x Hunter, let's go ahead and just draw this out and move on to the next map because we don't feel comfortable. And let's be honest, Abbey is one of those maps that I know a lot of teams do not practice because they don't like it.
That's a very good point, man. And you know, there's Nobody holding a gun to the player's head, saying, "Hey, you've got to practice this map." It's something that you only really have to play if somebody picks it, and if you don't like it, you don't pick it.
And just think about it, like the amount of time you have to put into Abbey, because it is a very complex map. But the amount of time you have to put into Abbey, not all these players have the time that other teams do. So if they're looking at just raw quality in their practice, they're actually going to say, "Okay, let's just draw out Abbey every single time, because we don't have as much time as other teams. And let's invest it all into the maps that we can really do and work on something else."
Now, you can say the same thing about Airfield as well. There's a map that I believe more series, more matches have hinged on Airfield than they have on Abbey, at least for the last matches. But some of the meta that has changed, or different strategies bring into it. We didn't see a lot of play in the grinder, then we started to see more play in the grinder. It's a map that it is part of the map pool, it is part of the strategy, but it's one of those last choices sometimes. But we've seen Fulcrum actually choose Airfield when they would lose a battle. It was the map that they chose the most.
3 minutes left, gentlemen, and we are finally seeing a little bit of movement out of Death from Above. They have advanced forward by about 100 meters.
A lot of move from Hunter x Hunter, though. They're circling around the northern side, leaving a T-69, a single T-69 behind. But the 5100s, which are, I would say, the brunt of the force in this army, they're going to be circling around to potentially pressuring on that southern hill.
Well, they do have that one-take advantage of Bullsaw, so eyes and ears are cut in half for the Tier 1s. But 2 minutes and 22 seconds left on the clock. It could not be a full-on push to completely annihilate the team, but now there's a scout in T1. Bocino sees Sijus, Buccaneer,
Bocino
and MacGyver.
takes like 4 shells of maybe 5 shots until he finally does go down. Every one of these autoloaders is going to have to clip after that. AMX 5100 shot at him, IS-3 shot at him, and that's a frustrating result here for Death from Above, who, if they were forced to fight now, would find themselves a little bit outgunned. That said, I don't know that that Hunter x Hunter is actually in a position to do anything about it.
They're not unless they start to push in, but Onizuka and Lincoln are not pulling that trigger. And they could move up to this rock area for a better movement, for a better position to get that surround movement if their 2 medium tanks, or at least 1 medium tank, went to the south. That's not going to be the case, but Onizuka does see MacGyver shot fired, but a miss here. And another shot from MacGyver, and it's another miss. Minute 26 seconds left on the clock, Ben. Nothing landing. Whoa, here comes Silgius and Buccaneer, though, to the south side, trying to get the hits on Tico. Tico 161 on his own. This could be the Tier 8 difference they need.
We've got a couple more tanks up on this high ground, and if they were to come down, this could be the advantage that that Hunter x Hunter has been waiting for. Man, this is a lot of tanks involved in this fight. MacGyver by himself and that AMX 5100 might be isolated and stands to go down. MacGyver, what are you doing, man? You're in a very awkward position, and he needs to get out of there. He's trying to make a full retreat, manages to miss one of Lincoln's shot. Lincoln shoots again, taking MacGyver down to 570 hit points, down to now 320 hit points. MacGyver trying to get back to his teammates, but he is ultimately going to go down as Lincoln does a great job giving chase. And man, you really have to say, what the hell were you thinking, Death from Above, by sitting there and doing nothing for 9 minutes and then pushing into a bad situation?
Then Onizuka at the top of this hill gets over the hill, gets the shots against MacGyver, and gets a nice kill against him, or Buccaneer rather, that was down to the bottom of the hill. Silgius, excuse me, pardon, name not pronouncing correctly, but he's going to be dead soon anyways. 618 HP as Tico and Onizuka land from the top, and shots ringing out from the surround from the other. 1390 from across the way, and the victory goes to Hunter by Hunter.
Man, I can't wrap my brain around what Death from Above was thinking. Andre, I'm just going to ask you, what was Death from Above thinking?
I have no clue. It was a really uncoordinated attack. 2 IS-3s going into the Abbey of all tanks. I mean, that's a perfect way to just get completely run over, right? IS-3s are not that mobile. Let's be honest, they don't have the best accuracy. It's not terrible, but it's not the best compared to, a T-69 or something else. And when you're doing these long-range fires, it can get really dicey. When there's a lot of cliffs, it can get really dicey, and that was a perfect position where it was 3v5. right?
Yeah.
3 tanks versus 5 tanks. We didn't even see the 2 IS3s. Let's go into the team score right now.
Yeah,
And
we can see pretty clearly that it's all about the damage output, and it was overwhelmingly in favor of Hunter x Hunter. They were just able to keep their tanks alive and pile on the damage, whereas Death from Above did not enjoy that kind of luxury. A grand total of about 2,000 damage being dealt by the entirety of Death from Above, whereas a much different story told on the side of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, and the positional aggressive movement of Death from Above, you would think this makes sense if they were up against 2 5100s that are trying to hold one of the lines. 2 of the tanks of the north side were pushing in, and 1 tank from the bottom pushes in, tries to damage one of the 5100s, falls back, reassesses and sees what the enemy team does, because now they have the advantage at 2 minutes left in the game of the 8-tier advantage. In my mind, I'm thinking that's what they're trying to do. But Hunter by Hunter had the 2 5100s at the top of the hill. They had the T-69 continually falling back, falling back, falling back. They took the bait. They came across. They were able to chase down MacGyver to the north side, and the 5100 at the top got the rest of the shots landed. And one of the T-69s from way far away, along with the 1390, kept getting that crossfire for those 2 tanks moving the corner. They set up that plan perfectly, at least because of the execution of Death from Above. Why they did that, though, why they kept going after that one tank, I don't know.
And if you think about how they executed it, you have 2 IS-3s coming from the Abbey. You have 2 heavy tanks coming from the low ground and 1 tank coming from the high ground all the way on the western side. What does that punish? What position does that punish? And the only thing I can
think
think,
it's just sloppy, man.
Yeah. Only thing it punishes is the tank going to the opposite side.
or all 8 or all 7
the
tanks.
only thing it punishes is more like you have to be more sloppy than this.
Yeah.
If you're going to if you're gonna lose to this, it was really sloppy. I mean, I did not like it. Did not like it. DFA kind of falling apart in my opinion, guys. We're gonna take a very short break. When we get back, it'll be our 3rd map in this series. Don't go anywhere.
Ben, I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's I'm right there with you, man. This is not a kind of tank configuration that lends itself to the kind of play that you need to make to win on this map, in my opinion, unless you just want to find a corner, sit there, and say, you shall never cap.
That could be a viable strategy. Now, we have seen 5100s on this map. We've also seen it on steps before, so I'm not too surprised. But the amount of IS-3s and another T-32 from Death from Above, this is going to be perhaps a camp situation for them. But the spread, great spread because of the agility of the different tanks for Hunter by Hunter will give them some great map control. And also going up to the hillside, far away to the southeastern position, could land some great shots in those 5100s, but it will be dependent upon what they're able to scout.
How about that northeastern position? What the heck? What?
Yeah,
I've only seen this in pubs.
That's a great spot to kill people up on the hill. I go there all the time.
But in terms of like...
Shots fired from Onizuka, though, and he does land against Reneka. Another one's fired. Looks like that one did not hit. Silgianis.
Reneka dropping down to about 837 hit points in his IS-3, and Salihas also taking a little bit of damage. So looks like some unanswered fire coming here from Hunter x Hunter, and already their position looking pretty considerable given the circumstances.
No, with that HP value being dropped on that IS-3, that's how it's gonna play out in the first 2 minutes of the game here. But revealing your position again, Reneka does as Heliox 2 lines up those shots, but 2. Oh nope, that one is able to hit Mad Max and Onizuka unloading.
And Reneka all the way down to 290 hit points. He's in a lot of trouble, and he will go down. Big shots out of Hunter x Hunter, picking up that tier 8 kill and jumping out to a very decisive lead, guys. That is a dead tier 8 tank and 0 damage taken from Hunter x Hunter.
And if you're wondering why they're, Hunter by Hunter is establishing this this heavy high ground position, it's because Tico made a great run across the center and saw no tanks on the western side. So they just said, let's take the high ground and let's go ahead and just rain hell down on these players.
And that's how you do it.
Salihas did manage to take a chunk out of Lincoln's HP, but unfortunately it's still a tall hill to climb, as Hunter x Hunter clearly enjoying a big tier advantage. Jake Vina Looks like he's going to try and make a push up this hill, but boy, is he playing with fire, a single T-32.
It's a good push to have because of the gun depression on T-32 coming up the hill. Lincoln can only hit his turret just moving up there, but Lincoln is moving back to the bottom of the hill, and because of that, Jakin is overexposing himself trying to get a shot on Lincoln. And if he overcommits, there could be another shot ringing true from the T-69. 2 against 1, guess what? Those 2 tanks usually are going to win out, even if it is against a T-32.
Jakin just now getting the spots on those 2 tanks. It's a 69 and an AMX 5100. He is far and away outgunned, so he is playing a very dangerous game by pushing up this hill. He does have the luxury of 2 5100s backing him up, but I mean, Hunter x Hunter has to know, hey, why the hell would we take the risk of making a big crazy push forward when we enjoy this advantage in both tier and vision, with both the tier 1s already having been eliminated.
Well, now Lincoln in 937 HP, but he will move a little bit further into the hillside. That will be a gamble because it will expose his tank. They only have one clear indication of what tanks are still in the area, and that is at T-32. That is enough to be cautious, especially since they have the tier 8 advantage. Halinix could push into the village side and see more, but they do get the scout as Mad Max just goes right over the crest of that hill next to those bushes. His T-69 does land
Buccaneer
shots.
taking some damage. I'm not sure how that where that's coming from or how he's even been spotted.
Mad Max 2977. That's where that's coming from in a T-69. He missed the first shot, but he lands the second.
Oh, he tracked with the first shot and landed the second one.
Oh, okay.
MacGyver and Buccaneer are trying to cover Jake Vina from down here on this weird low ground position, but boy, they are just so far removed from any fights and don't have the ability to spot on their own. So not the strongest position. Red base is now under attack. Cap having been initiated by, I guess, by these tier 1s.
And that is a great position to have because that's going to force 1 or 2 turrets, and that's all you need in order to match that aggression or have further aggression against any tanks on the side of the hill. That T-32 getting shot at from far away in the 1390, but he lands a shot against Lincoln. He will back up as Mad Max and Lincoln are going to have to evaluate, do we move in? Are they going to focus on the flag cap? What do you guys see to the north? And that's when they're going to have to make their decision.
It's a tough spot here. Salihas, the only one really in position to do anything about this cap, and he's got his he's being very well occupied by the T1 Cunningham, which is trying to track him and actually has damaged the tracks, hasn't managed to knock him out yet. Tico in an AMX 1390 also keeping Salihas pinned back, hiding behind that rock, and Salihas can't really make any sort of movement. This little T1, Bocino rather, continuing to plink away at these tracks, and and he has actually tracked Salihas, so Salihas can't move because of T1 fire.
And MacGyver gets the kill against the T1. 30 seconds left on the capture point. But there is Jakin. He's going to be spotted by Onizuka as Mad Max 297 does move in to try to get the kill. He's going to get in front of Onizuka to share that HP. He's going to focus on the T-32, but a lot of shots are not penetrating against that T-32. Buccaneer in the 5100 from way far away, getting some great shots, Ben. And this is just a battle of the hill that is more of a distraction for the red team.
Yeah, 9 seconds left, 8 seconds on the clock. Salihas has got to do something to reset this cap. He needs to land a big shot. I don't know if he can do it because nobody killed the supplies, and that flag is captured, and that is gonna mean another big win for Hunter x Hunter and DFA. They're in a world of trouble.
Well, they died to death from above, right? I mean, the firepower that came out of Hunter by Hunter was just incredible. And yeah, you know, the IS-3 Salihas did actually fire at the T1, and they hit the destructible debris. Really, really, I want to say unfortunate, but it's just not comprehensive play protecting the cap in the very early game stages.
Yep. Yeah. Always kill the supplies, man.
Always. That's 101, guys. If you ever want to play anything competitively, you have to know the fundamentals, and that is one of the fundamentals of World of Tanks. Not just 7x42, but also competitive play.
Yes.
Destroy the supplies. There's a reason they're there. You know, there's a reason they're there. Wargaming put that in of, hey, here's your tank supplies. And here's a little bit of extra cover in case you're, trying to cap it. Get rid of it. Destroy it. Blow it up. Run over it. Anything. Get rid of it.
Hunter X. Welcome back to the Wargaming.net League North American Season 2 Qualifier number 1. And what could very possibly be our final battle of the day. It's going to be between Death from Above and Hunter x Hunter. The game has begun, so rather than looking at our beautiful faces, let's look at some beautiful tank gameplay. go, gentlemen. The final chance for Death from Above to bounce back. You know what the first thing Buccaneer did was?
What's that?
Run over the supplies.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. Already learning, man.
Evolution complete.
Progress.
Fundamentals.
Progress. Adversity breeds character. And we are seeing DFA learning already.
5100s, 2 of them on the side of Hunter by Hunter. 2 T69s, 1 1390, 2 T1 Cunninghams. 4 Death from Above, 2 Amex 5100s, 3 IS3s, favoring the IS3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams on the map that is mine. And now we're seeing those IS3s move down to the water, Ben.
Yeah. Very interesting development here. Looks like Death from Above might be thinking about revisiting what worked from on Himmelsdorf as they make a crazy push through the water, controlling the island as well. This is not something you see very often because, in general, controlling that center high ground is so much more valuable. We see T1 Cunningham getting taken out as Hunter x Hunter is very clearly taking control of that center ground. It's going to be hard, in my opinion, for DFA to advance up out of the water here. They're just going to be under fire the whole way.
It will be really hard, too, as Hunter by Hunter is going to get way more map controls. Bocino and the T1 moving up to the east side, and so are the 5100s. Because they have seen the IS3s in the water, they can feel more confident moving on the east side to the north. But now Onizuka and Lincoln decide, okay, since we're not going to spot anything yet with the T1, and they're pushing past that middle ground, let's pull back, readjust, and get those shots when they come out of the water.
Yep. There's a little bit more spotting going down as that T1 Cunningham of Hunter x Hunter has identified once again IS3s are on the prowl. That's Reneka, Salihas, and Signal all trying to make some sort of a push towards the blue flag, but man, they have stalled out in a big way.
Yeah, stall indeed. But now the T1 all the way to the north. Bocino, get to see what else he can try to scout near the flag capture.
Yeah, with no T1s alive, I think Bocino might even be able to just pressure flags straight up. MacGyver in his Amex 5100 does have a line of sight on that flag, but I don't know that he can even see far enough if Bocino comes in from the A-line.
Helio X02 in the 1390 can land any shots of against tanks that Bocino is able to scout, as he does try to line up anything coming out of the water. And there is one 5100 way far away from MacGyver's point of view. Heliox is not in a position for him to hit, but
Whoa.
MacGyver does take some hits.
Yes, he does. 2 big shots, dropping him down to 700 hit points. That must have been 3 shots, as MacGyver is now basically stuck behind this rock. If he moves out, he's going to take T69 fire, and that is not a happy feeling. Buccaneer also taking a little bit of damage from some undisclosed location, as he has been spotted, but he's not able to spot back. That's never a good feeling. MacGyver goes down as he tried to get out, but it wasn't happening. And now Death from Above forced to, I guess, reap what they have sown as they have to come back. They have to come back and defend, and they're doing it under fire from Hunter x Hunter.
IS3s creeping just up past the beachhead around that mountainous area. Bocino has been spotted on their side, I believe. Bocino is able to scout them just for a little bit, but they will disappear in the fog of war. But they are able to see one of the 5100s on the other side of the island. The great spread of Hunter by Hunter, plus being up, the tiered advantage means all they have to do is play defensive, look for those openings, and as those IS3s try to determine which way they're going to go, shoot them from either side, and that will lower the HP pool and will go into a victory for Hunter by Hunter. It's not over yet, though, because being too confident or getting some of these tanks caught in the open with those IS3 alpha strikes could mean a quick death for 1390.
Yeah.
And that would tie it up.
Theoretically, these IS-3s able to crank out 1,200 damage every time they fire. That's enough to kill a lot of tanks. So Hunter x Hunter still has to be careful not to overextend, but victory is within grasp. They are 5 short minutes away from advancing on in this qualifier. Bocino is going to get blasted as he was trying to advance towards that flag. He is no longer a factor in this game.
No, he is not, but that is information, again, that's added to the board for Hunter by Hunter to determine what route they should take. If I was in their shoes, simply play the defensive route. Keep your T69s in areas that could swoop in if necessary in case one of the 5100s is tracked or an IS-3 overexposes themselves or tries to cross over to the lighthouse section, which would be a not very smart move from either team at this point because any tank moves a lot slower in water. Mad Max 297 in his positioning with his battle buddy and the other T69, Tico 161, Can't hold down any aggressive play style from those IS-3s moving across that water side as the heavy tanks take the hill for Hunter by Hunter, and it's going to be a slow countdown.
Yep, 4 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, and just a terrible position to be in if you're Death from Above. They enjoy no advantage whatsoever. They don't even really have any map control. You can basically cut this map into thirds, and Death from Above barely controls one of those thirds. So tough spot indeed. Certainly when you're in a must-win situation, down in tier points, unable to secure any sort of map control.
Ooh, Hayok's coming in, and he's going to take out Buccaneer. Double shot, double kill. Well, actually, single kill.
Oh, man. And the situation becomes even more grim now for Death from Above as they are down to just 3 IS-3s. That's all that remains. 3 full health IS-3s, perhaps capable of doing some real damage. But the only thing that Hunter x Hunter has lost in this game is the vision of Bocino. Everything else is at full health and enjoying very strong position.
It will be a miraculous play of those IS-3s. A lot of shots are going to have to bounce and a lot of low rolls for them to survive. All of these autoloaders completely annihilating them from different sides. Helio XO02 can hit right from the water side. You have those T-69s up on the hill, and Silgius does get some
Speaking
hits
of alpha damage, Lincoln takes 800 damage at once. Salihas does have to take some fire in return, but Lincoln dropping down to 666 hit points. Here comes a crazy push from Tico, who's going to come down the chute, and he's going to light up Signal. Signal down to just 20 hit points is probably going to fall. Can he get away? He will survive for now. Onizuka's also going to make a push in that AMX 5100. Down goes one of the IS-3s. That was Signal going down. Reneka will soon follow, and Salihas, the last man standing, will do everything in his power not to die, but unfortunately, it is an inevitability. Salihas down to 40 hit points. One final shot will decide it. 1390 on the ram. Does it with style. Heliox cleans it up, and that's gonna do it. Hunter x Hunter of the Cazadores clan advancing on in this qualifier, being ever so close to the WGLNA season number 2.
Step-by-step, play-by-play, as we saw there. And locking down this map was a nice, solid, clean victory for them. And I'm really impressed with the patience that it took to line up those shots against those IS-3s. They didn't have to move in, but I'm forgetting his name now. Bocino. That T1 Cunningham gave them so much information of pushing closer and closer to the flag, to the enemy flag capture. And once he moved in and did lose his life, obviously, it was pretty much set from there. They knew where the tanks were. They already had the tiered advantage. It was a slow death from above.
And how befitting is it that this, our final map of the day, ends with some more great 1390 play. Heliox in the 1390 picking up 3 kills, doing 2,000 damage, fired 13 times, penetrated 12 of them. Very nicely done indeed. We saw him picking off a couple of 5100s and, of course, getting the final ram for the win right there at the end.
That was really cool. No, I don't have much to say about that. Just Hunter x Hunter were able to demolish their opponents. And it almost reminded me of that Nerve versus Warriors of Honor game that we had in Season 1 where, you know, the one team just took the entire the entire West, and they got crushed with just a fantastic crossfire.
Yeah, that's how it happens, man. So that's actually going to wrap up our Day 1 qualifier broadcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please continue to send us your tweets and your Facebook comments at twitter.com/WGLNA, facebook.com/WGLNA. And if you missed any of the action and you want to catch it again, head over to WGLNA.com. Those VODs should be up tomorrow morning. We had 5 winners tonight. Yep. Josh, why don't you just take us through them? Tell us who was moving on to the later stages of this qualifier.
We have High Voltage, Refuse to Die, Sympasaurus Rex. Sorry, it's really funny. Sympasaurus Rex, Forgotten Legionnaires, and our final winner will be Hunter by Hunter. Congratulations to these teams. They did perform very well. And as we've said throughout the night, Ben and Greetorp, we want to tip our hats and say thank you to all the teams that have signed up. And if you didn't make it through this round, sign up for qualifier number 2.
Who knows?
You'll get another shot.
Maybe you could be the next Fulcrum Gaming cashing a big check for $50,000 and representing North America on the global stage at some point. You know, we'll have to just wait and see. Gentlemen, before we sign out, who are your favorites going into the later stages of the qualifier?
Me first? Let me see. I'm actually going to say Forgotten Legionnaires. I think they just played a really, really well, comprehensive, aggressive style of play. Their fundamentals are great. I'm looking for them to advance.
I'm gonna pick 2. It's Hunter by Hunter and Sipasaurus Rex.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Hunter by Hunter looked great. I of course completely agree with Andre. Forgotten Legionnaires most impressed me. I would love to see those two clash at some point. It would also break my heart. But you know what? Only one team can advance from this qualifier. So maybe those two can match up at some point. Also looking to see more growth out of Refuse to Die. They showed some really good thinking. I would just like to see a little bit more killer instinct. Also want to give a final shout out to Valkyrie Vewas, who we've been giving all this love to 1390 play, and Valkyrie Vewas was like, hey, what about me? We saw it, Valkyrie Vewas. You put up some good numbers, and we'll be looking to see more great play out of you.
And also mention for High Voltage, this could be a dark horse coming into the qualifiers, you know.
Could be. Definitely could.
Let's see.
Gentlemen, we are more or less done. Want to give a final thank you to our sponsors, Logitech, Kingston, Alienware, and Azo monitors, which are available today on Amazon.com. We just put in some new Azo monitors in the back. They're pretty sweet. Been playing a lot of games on them, and they all look great. They're pretty awesome.
Definitely more vibrant than my other monitor, 100%.
Vibrant is a perfect word to describe the experience you get when using an Azo monitor. We're done, gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m. Do not miss it. We're going to get one step closer to qualifying one of our final 2 teams for the WGLNA Season 2, which starts in October. See you guys.